Friday Night Insights. It's week 6. It's 50 degrees out now. It feels right. We're back to do picks out of these guys. Wes Huett, Ben Diggle, you know him. We start with our surprises from the week before. I think Wes is up first on that front. And in the big school surprise, what do we have?
I got Canton. I picked them last in the Mid-Illini. I think maybe I was wrong in that respect. They won a couple of games in a row. Beat a tough Morton team last week. Tough win for them. I think their defense was huge. They had a couple of defensive scores. Safety Nathan Williams had a fumble return, and where they struggled on offense, the defense picked them up. It was a big win for them.
Absolutely. I didn't really think they'd have. I really thought Morton would come in there angry and stick it to them, but they.
Let me have. Do I have this right? Canton's 3-2.
Yes, 3-2.
Were they tight loss to EP?
Yep.
Okay.
One drive from being 4-1.
And they finish every year with QND, and this one's in Canton. I'm just after the league season, so I always have to think about people's schedules. And try to get to that mythical or that magical 5. I mean.
Yep.
What's your surprise?
Eureka Hornets. Eureka Roanoke Benson Hornets, to be exact. They've won 2 in a row. They knocked off previously unbeaten Sherrard last week, 41-14. Andrew Mullins has just been huge over the last 2 weeks. Run for something almost 500 yards, I believe, and 10 touchdowns, I want to say, in the last 2 weeks alone. So he's had a big 2 weeks, and they're playing well. So
got that Ben Zobrist vibe.
They've got the Ben Zobrist magic working, but they're going to need every bit of it to beat Bloomington Central Catholic tomorrow night.
Oh yeah,
that's a tall order in E-Town tomorrow night.
Yeah. That's number 1 in 4A.
That is number 1 in 4A. Yeah.
Okay, well, we go right from our surprises to our games of the week. Stay on stage here, Big Ben. What's the little school game of the week?
Game of the week, it's not very sexy record-wise, but it's Anawan Weathersfield and Elmwood Brimfield. Both are 3-2, and like you said, both are kind of looking to get that magical 5 wins to get in, and they've both got pretty tough schedules over the rest of the way. This is one game they each have to win to make sure it happens. The winner here is sitting, in fairly decent position, but the loser is going to be hurting if they.
So how's the Anawans doing since we talked them up in the preseason? I mean, I see they're 3-2.
Started 1-2, but they've come on recently. They've won their last 2 by an average of something like 52-22 or something, I think, in the paper. So they're starting to find their groove a little bit. I think an offense like that, it takes time to find your role and know where everything's going. So I
assume some new kids are got into the fold too, and
some new kids. Yeah. They're still, working a little bit. They haven't passed as much, which has been kind of shocking.
They discriminated against the Anawan kids for a few weeks,
yeah.
didn't they? I'm just kidding. They wouldn't do that. Wes, what's your game of the week?
It's very similar to Ben's in respect of a team needing a win to get into the playoffs. Dunlap and East Peoria. Sort of 2 teams that seemed to be going in opposite directions before last week, and then all of a sudden Dunlap turns it around, gets a big win, and East Peoria gets a big loss. So it's like maybe which team's for real, I guess. Which of these 2 teams is the one that's going to be 5-4, 6-3, and in the playoffs, and which the one maybe that might be on the outside.
We're asking that a lot.
Yeah, especially in the Mid-Illini. Really, I think outside of Metamora, I mean, you saw last week Limestone, who hasn't won a conference game, is 1 touchdown from Washington.
Yeah,
the league is just so wide open.
It's completely wide open. Aside from Metamora, who's head and shoulders. Really, anybody else can win. I know it's cliched, but it's true.
That said, there's still a timing and schedule factor.
Definitely.
I mean, EP scheduled like a team that was trying to feel good about itself. Even they didn't really. That's what a college team does.
Yeah, right. They don't decide when they play.
That's what I mean. I don't mean they scheduled, but they had it like, hey, let's get the ball rolling with a backloaded schedule, and getting to 5 is the work still in front of them there, including here.
Sure.
Let's make a pick on that.
I like Dunlap in a very, very close game.
I learned last week never to pick against my alma mater, so I'll take the Eagles. This one.
You were only 25 points shy of pulling out that peak.
Actually, wasn't it like 36 points shy or something?
Yeah, 48-24. And we didn't pick our EB game. That's got to be the Geese, no?
I am going to go with the Geese, but it's going to be real close. So, actually, that's Titans, now that I think about it. But
yeah.
I'm sorry, Weathersfield Geese. Titan. All co-ops need a new nickname, and they're all generic like Titans.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I'm going to say Anawan by 17.
Wow.
Just because you said tight, I just don't. It's not Elmwood's
and
year.
I obviously know nothing about this
Elmwood's
speed.
year. This isn't Elmwood's year.
I'll take the Tees.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move through to Big 2. 3 top versus bottom, if we will, games in the Mid-State 6. We start with Central at Richwoods.
Yeah, Richwood's sort of woke up a little bit with that tight loss to Notre Dame with the fumbles, and it woke them up a little bit. They had a relatively easy run through the first 3 games, kind of got punched in the mouth a little bit by Notre Dame, and now they're going to roll through a manual central stretch that really is going to, I think, is going to get them back on track.
That stretch has healed a lot of what's ailed a lot of what's ailed a lot of teams over
I
the
beg
years.
to differ. It's not a stretch. Friday the 11th, they're down at QND.
Right. Well, the 2 games, manual last week and central this week.
Oh, I'm sorry. They've already
Yeah.
done manual.
Yes.
My fault. I was thinking in front of you. Okay. So we're picking Richwoods.
Richwoods.
We know
Yeah.
we're picking Richwoods. Manual at Quincy, Notre Dame. That's a long bus ride.
It's a long bus ride for maybe no touchdowns again. Emmanuel's just struggling and mightily to score, and it gets a team like Quincy Notre Dame who's going to score because they grind the clock and they eat up time and they're going to score touchdowns. It could be a long night for the Rams.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. That's QND.
Okay. But the Rams are hanging in there personnel-wise, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, defensively they've held strong relatively. They just cannot score. I mean, it could be a situation where QND's up 14-0 or 21-0 at halftime, but it'll just wear them down and end up being 35-0 or 35-6 if they can score.
The curious part about this Manual team is they seem to have a solid line, which in years past
it's a
hasn't
great
always
line.
been the case. They've had
It's a
great
really
skill
good line.
players and no.
Wes
No
Gordon,
linemen.
DeMarco Neal. I mean, their athletes are on the line, and
Yeah.
I mean, if they could find a way to just the school's so small and they're fighting that sort of uphill battle when it comes to
Absolutely.
the enrollments. I mean, if they get a situation where maybe Wes Gordon could play tight end or could play for fullback or something, but now they just can't. They got to have him on the line.
Yeah.
could Notre Dame mess with Woodruff at all?
A bit, maybe a little bit, because Notre Dame has shown propensity to just play teams really tough. I mean, they go out, it's effort for 4 quarters. It's sort of just a grittiness that the teams in the past didn't have, and Woodruff was susceptible a little bit last week to Quincy Notre Dame. I think it's going to be a close game for most of the way, and I see Woodruff maybe pulling out by a couple touchdowns late.
That propensity to kind of hit teams in the mouth is kind of what had me wanting to pick Notre Dame there, but I think Woodruff gets them. But you're right, it's going to be close.
Yeah.
Well, there's a huge speed difference in those two. Isn't
That's
there?
all. Yeah, there's.
I mean, I keep bringing up Woodruff's speed, and I guess I
It's-
probably
but
keep bringing up Notre Dame's
but the way
speed.
they're playing is they don't really use it. It seems like they're not using it the way they can because it seems like Thornton wants to shorten the games a little bit. And
Yeah.
but who knows? I mean, I said that's been against teams like maybe who couldn't match their speed. I mean, we want to call Quincy Notre Dame slow, but they really aren't. I mean, they have some.
Yeah. Limestone at Morton, the Powder's in a bounce.
I think so. Limestone has a new quarterback in Caleb Boyer.
I saw that.
For
That
the
was.
wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Tyler Best left the team, and so who knows? They could rally around. I mean, they had made a tough push against Washington late. We're down a couple touchdowns. We're one onside kick from being able to tie that game. So it could be maybe two teams could be a little turning point game. But
Is the Scooter Gang going to go attend this thing? It's on the road. Warren
Do
Peacock
they
and
allow?
Butts and those guys?
Do they allow scooters on
That's
474?
what they may not be able to get that
Yeah,
far.
maybe they can just trailer them there. I mean, ironically, Morton does do that whole Harley thing in the end zone.
That's
so maybe,
right.
Maybe we can
the
just
Scooters right
maybe
behind them.
scooters, yeah.
2
The
more
Hog.
picks. Say it. Say it.
Morton,
Canton at Metamora. No.
Metamora.
God bless Canton. They're a surprise.
The Schlemmer Bowl, though. That's
Washington
always
at
an
Schlemmer
amazing
Pekin, I
game.
think. Isn't Washington Pekin a little bit of an upset spot? Or
Um,
are we afraid to say that after
I
Pekin
refuse to
won?
say Pekin after last
No,
week.
the way Dunlap ran on Pekin last week, Washington's really Justin Riley has been a huge surprise the last couple of weeks, and I think that added element is going to just be enough for Washington.
Okay, you already answered basically. Washington, maybe they kind of have to bounce too in a way, but
Yeah.
they got to scare. Ben, we need our locks. I gotta pull out my Metamora card.
Playing the Metamora card,
Yeah, I can't think of. I've used up a lot of teams.
I'm going to play the Morton card then.
What it is?
Morton. Ooh.
I just found out I'm covering this game, so we got to have some
incentive.
vested interest.
Theismann wouldn't pick a game that he's covering.
Yeah.
God bless him.
National
Okay, that's
journalistic
it. Week 6. We're 2/3 of the way through the regular season, but about 1/8 of the way through the overall season, thanks to the playoff structure. We will see you next week, as always. Don't forget to snap and the morning paper and everything we always promote. Thanks, and bye-bye.